Windy City Women. Windy City Women. Windy City Women. Two comedians. Windy City Women. Talking about some stuff.
Hello.
What's up?
Can you see me?
Yeah.
Nothing much. What's up with you?
Fucking. Yeah.
Okay.
Crazy.
Okay.
Right? I mean.
Okay.
Just. I don't know why I feel that way right now, but
Okay. Okay. I feel the same way. I feel that way, but also I smoke weed, so I'm calm. So, I don't know. I got into a car accident recently. That was fun. I'm still alive.
Oh my god.
And just been living the good life ever since.
You do seem quite chill. Your
I
head is
am. I don't
bouncing.
know. You know what? I think it was the perfect combination of things. So I had chicken. Fried chicken is amazing. Then I had rice. And then I also smoked. And then I had a Coke. And it was like all of those amazing things wrapped up in one. It was like, you can now just be calm. And I feel like maybe I should just do that on a regular basis. If it wasn't for the fact that I would be 7,000 pounds if I ate fried chicken every day, I would do it. I'm an advocate for it.
Chicago question.
Okay.
Did you go Harold's?
No, this is actually homemade.
Oh, wow.
It's homemade, and also,
Even better.
unfortunately for Harold's fans, Uncle Remus is better.
Okay. She said
Yeah,
it. She put it out
yeah.
there. Okay.
Uncle Remus is better. I'm from the West Side. I represent the West Side. Gang, gang, gang.
That reminds
Harold's
me.
is okay.
Kells, tell our listeners what are you want our logo to be.
Okay, guys, are you ready for this? The visions of Kells. It's gonna be us holding up our W's, right? Windy City Women, and then in the
Windy
C,
City Women.
it's gonna be like the old school Cubs logo,
Yeah.
but then like Chicago in the
Ooh,
logo.
Remember when they'd be like, ooh. Why do kids do that all the time? Why were we doing that?
I don't know. It called attention to how cool we were, I think.
Yes, we were very
Yeah.
cool. Very cool. Okay, should we do some news segments?
Um, let's go for it.
What's happening? Happening. Oh, by the way, we never even introduced ourselves. I am Amanda Costner.
And I am Kells the Comic.
And we're Windy City.
That's my contribution to singing. And this is Carmen. She's also a woman, but a dog version of a woman.
She looks like she's just dreaming sweet dreams on your lap.
She is. She is. She knows that my spirit is now calm due to the effects of fried chicken. And we're okay with that. She feels good. Oh, by the way, I did want to shout out something. So on the last podcast, I had a shirt on. It was a red shirt, and it has like a awesome girl on it. That was the logo for Crown and Confident. And then today, that's a black business. It's my stylist actually. She doesn't do well. She didn't do my braids, but she does all my other hairstyles.
But
You
wait,
can
can you
reach
repeat
out to
that?
her.
Crown and Confident?
Crowned and Confident Hair. You can find her on Instagram. And then also today, I have on Ra's Supreme Clientele shirt, and he is a barber in Minnesota. So,
Where at in Minnesota?
Albert, Minnesota, Albert Lee, Minnesota.
Oh, you got
I
fans
think,
everywhere, Kels.
yeah,
Or should I say
and
we have fans
we have
everywhere?
fans everywhere. But both of them are dope black-owned businesses. Hit them up, look them up. Yeah, and I
I
just wanted to
love
say
it.
that. That's where my
Shout
shirt was
out.
from.
Shout out. I like that shirt.
Mm,
That's pretty cool.
thank you. Don't you like the tealness of it?
Yeah.
I like the teal. It's a bobber. Who's a fat set? What do you call those things? Cutter. Who's a fat bobber? What do you call those things? I
Clippers?
don't cut it. Bingo. Bingo. Look at you being all smart. Clippers.
Oh man, she just inserted fat into the. Okay, what's going on? So COVID is on the rise still, especially in states that opened early, like Texas and Florida. I, for one, am shocked.
I'm not shocked, and that's also why I have my mask on because gross. No, but yeah. I feel like anything that was serious enough for us to quarantine for as long as we quarantined, I don't think it's safe to be like, what? You said outside's open? Let's get naked and run through the streets of our cities. Because I feel
Well,
like
I
that's what
mean,
everyone's doing.
Wrigleyville and Town apparently were two of the worst culprits, according to Twitter and the pictures I saw. People just packed outside, no masks.
So I was on the phone with my friend yesterday, and she's like, "Oh man, it must have been Black Pride today." And I was like, "Well, no, I know it was Pride or whatever, but nobody got to do anything. The parade was canceled, and it was really sad." And then she started laughing, and she's like, "According to my timeline, there were celebrations." And I'm like, "Really, really? We cannot say no. No means no, guys. Stay the fuck in the house."
I feel like us gays were so good for like 28, 27, 28 days. And then
Okay.
these last few days, we were like, fuck it! I'm getting drunk with a million people, and we're all gonna be in rainbows, so it's not gonna enter my head that, yeah.
I mean, I get it. I feel like it's a catch-22 because on one hand, you've been cooped up for so long, and now that Auntie Lori Lightfoot's like, I'm gonna give you a little bit of freedom, people are like, whoa! But also COVID. So maybe reel it back in a bit.
Reel it back in. Also, we're
Yeah.
going down right now. Kanye West, he just dropped a new song today called Wash Us in the Blood. And also, same week that he was in the news for just a few days ago because he struck a new deal with Gap, the clothing Gap. So yeah, Kanye back in the news. Kanye stays.
He stays in the news, and I feel like with Kanye West, you just have to pick a side. You have to pick a side, and you have to stay on that side.
Okay, what side are you?
Don't move. I am pro Kanye. Kanye can do no wrong to me. You tell me something Kanye did, I will give you a reasonable explanation as to why he did it.
Why is he a Trump supporter?
So he's
The
not
longest
a
pause
Trump
I ever
support.
heard Kells
Okay,
take in her
it
life.
is,
The
it
longest
is,
pause I ever heard you take in your life.
it is. I feel like he is not a Trump supporter. He's a supporter of Trump, if you will. And what I mean by that is he said multiple times, I can barely spell politics. So I'm not even interested in the politics of it. He likes the bravado of Trump, the fact that Trump was
Dragon
literally a
blood or whatever he
reality
said.
star. Right. And now you're president of the United States. He likes the flair. And let's be clear, before Trump became president, Trump was literally in every other rapper's lyrics, like doing this like Trump and blah 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 like Trump. It was until he said out loud, I like to grab people by the vaginas and also build walls against Mexicans and fuck black people too. Like it was until then that people were like, oh, okay, maybe we should reel that back in. I don't think Trump has changed from then till now. It's just now not cool to be like, hey, Trump is cool. I think that, just like Dave Chappelle said, I think if you are looking at your local celebrity like, give me clarity, make sense to me, lead me the way, you're fucking up. Because they're just as regular as we are. Like, literally, if you're looking at me right now, you're looking at a pre-celebrity, okay? I'm going to be a celebrity, just not a celebrity yet. I'm still going to say dumb shit then that I'm saying now. So if you're looking like, oh my God, why is this person not so profound? Because he's Kanye West and he has bipolar disease. Like, what are you talking about?
So what you're telling me is I
Mm-hmm.
shouldn't wake up every day and live my life exactly how Amy Winehouse lived hers?
You can, but
Because she's
in
my
the
hero.
end, okay, she is your hero. But in the end, it turns out she should have said yes to rehab instead of saying no, no,
You
no.
came, you had to. I
So
teed it
I
up, you
had
had
to. You open the door. So it's
to.
like maybe or maybe not be out there trying to live like our idols. I mean, also he was in the news too for being in the protest
Yeah, in
in
Chicago,
Chicago.
in our backyard.
But
What do you think of
the
that? What do you think?
I think that that was another opportunity for people to how you think about people says more about you than it says about them, right? He's in the protest and people were like, look at Kanye in the protest not doing enough protesting. But then you were upset last week when it was like, where's Kanye? Like, I feel like it's either, like I said, you do not like him and everything he does gets on your nerves, or you're like me and everything he does is literally like him shitting out a golden egg.
Oh, I am not like you. I don't think he shits out golden eggs.
Oh,
For
God.
one thing, he can't drop anything when he says he does. Except for today. He actually dropped what he said he would. I was very impressed.
Okay.
But speaking of
Okay.
Trump, polls show that Trump is behind, / Trump just had a warrant arrest issued for him from Iran.
He's so ghetto.
He goes over there, he might get arrested.
He's
That's what
ghetto.
they said last time, though. They said last time he could never win, and we saw what happened there.
Yeah, I don't believe in the polls or down this day or anything like that. Because at the end of the day, to be really, really honest with you, I kind of think he's going to get voted in again. I kind of think this is going to be two-term Trump, is what we're going to call him. And oh, that's
Oh
sad. Like I
man, you're
don't.
making a lot of people cringe right now. A lot of
I
people listening
know.
to this are like, their teeth just did that grindy thing.
I know. I know. Well, get out and vote if you want, and vote against Trump. Yeah. Amanda's laughing because she knows how I feel about voting.
We're gonna get to that later. Okay, I think it's time for us to do some Lori story. Or unless, do you have any other news you want to talk about?
No, I had some really good chicken earlier. That's it.
That is good news.
Yeah.
I'm jealous. I'm gonna have Subway. My girlfriend already brought it home.
Eat
Okay,
fresh.
I think it's time for some Lori story.
Lori
About
story.
our mayor, Lori Lightfoot.
Gotta love her. Gotta love her. So she announced that she was gonna give, was it 11 million?
Yeah, 11 million in grants to community groups on the south and west sides.
And I think that's dope. I looked, I know she's giving it to like the Auburn Gresham area and like North Lawndale and stuff like that. I think that that's awesome. I think that Lori Lightfoot is the epitome of like black people working for white bosses. Like she just wants to do good, but then it's also like I got a white boss. Like I feel like she is just. I like her. I like her. I think that there are some things that if I were mayor, I would probably do differently. But that's also because I'm not probably mayor. I think she's doing the best she can in following the footsteps of Harold Washington and looking like him.
I don't know how she looks lately. I always just hear her on the radio, and her voice sounds quite gritty. And she's either chain smoking cigarettes or perhaps she's talking all day long on the phone and stuff.
I think that she's talking all day long, and I also think that she is in the midst of or currently coming down from a mental breakdown.
Seriously?
Dude, name one other mayor that's going through what she literally came and she was like, okay, I want to be the mayor of Chicago. Okay, elect me as mayor of Chicago. They elected her as mayor of Chicago. She walked around in very terrible looking suits and gave appearances, and it was all very mayoral. And then COVID hit, and then she was like, what the fuck am I supposed to do in Chicago with COVID? Like, I feel like COVID everywhere else was very I don't know, refined, but like in Chicago, it was like get in the house. Like we threw house parties. It was all type of just ignorant Chicago shit that happened, and she just had to be Lori Lightfoot through it all. So I feel for her, but then again, that's the job.
That's what she signed up for. She
That's what
signed
she
up to
signed
wear
up
those
for.
bad suits, and
She did. I don't know. I don't think she signed up for the bad suits. I'm gonna disagree with that. I feel like at some point you should grow up and say no. I will not buy suits from Target.
no, I always want her to
But
dress this way. I always want to remember her this way.
I don't. Like fuck my head up one day, Lori Lightfoot. Step out with a tracksuit. Like do something that's gonna like I don't know. I just mm.
Well, I'm glad she's given that money to these community groups too.
I am, and I hope that the funds are distributed
Yeah,
well
because you know
and
how that
with good
goes in
intention.
government usually. If it's
Yeah,
11
that's
million, about 10.9 million goes in a bunch of assholes' butthole, and then like $4 goes to help the kids.
exactly. Like that's why like these huge numbers, they don't move me. I don't know if you've heard about like the small business loans that people are getting now, and like everybody has the $10,000 advance from it. Like I literally saw a bum going down the street and he had like a shopping cart with rims on it because he had just got his $10,000. Like people abuse the system in any way they can. So it's like I'm excited about it. Hopefully these things get to the people who they are meant for.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Always research whoever you're donating money to, folks. A lot of
Bingo.
times, if you go and look, most of the money is not going where you think it is, sadly.
No, no, it is
Okay,
not.
on to our main segment of the hour. Ow! Carmen's ears are picking up like, what is that crazy woman doing?
She wants to hear too. Don't worry, you'll hear.
Today, Kells and I are talking about what is, in my opinion, along with COVID, continue to be at the top of everybody's minds through this pandemic and after the murder of George Floyd. But specifically today, we're talking about the Black Lives Matter movement.
Yes, the Black Lives Matter movement.
Ah! I think even the way you said that, Kells, like, spoiler alert to our viewers and to our listeners. This is going to be our honest opinions. This is a very serious, we both take this very serious, and we both take, I think, racism, even though we're comedians, we take it seriously, and we're going to be giving our honest opinions. This is not going to be us trying to be PC. It is just going to be, and of course we're going to be funny like we usually are, but brace yourselves. Spoiler alert, Kells is not going to be out protesting with people in the Black Lives Matter movement anytime soon. And in fact, you are not pro the Black Lives Matter movement.
Okay. I want so that sounds like harsh. Like I'm anti so this
I
this
really
is what
fucked
it
you up
is.
with that intro.
This is what it is. It's like there are good things that have come from the Black Lives Matter movement. I am saying that. I want to preface this by that. However, um so it was started in 2013. It is 2020. And let's name all of the amazing changes that have come from the Black Lives Matter movement. Let's go.
You're putting the pressure on. Well, there have been multiple mayors who have come out and said they're going to ban chokeholds. But actually, you know what? I lied to you and told you I wasn't going to bring that up. I apologize. Who knows if
No.
they're going to follow through on that. That's just what they're saying. So that doesn't actually count. Minneapolis voted the board of Minneapolis voted to disband the police.
Okay. Let's be 1000%. If everything else that happened after George Floyd happened, minus Black Lives Matter, let's say Black Lives Matter did not exist, but they were still protesting, there was still the rioting, everything else, do you think that that change would have come with the whole defunding
You're
the police
saying
part?
perhaps the credit is not in the Black Lives Matter movement. It's, I lived in Minneapolis for 4 years before I moved to Chicago. That doesn't mean I act, anything special, except for I just have like what I would say is more friends there, and more. I'm seeing like more of their, Instagram lives and stuff. And I agree with you. I think this reaction probably would have happened without the Black Lives Matter movement, because there is a very long history of racism in the Minneapolis, specifically Minneapolis, St. Paul. According to me, like my opinion and a lot of other people that live there, St. Paul has like separated off a little bit, but just because of the people who have led. Anyways, I see your point and I agree with you.
I feel like things happen organically due to a group of people who are outraged, this and that and the other. And then when something matriculates from it, then you see somebody with the Black Lives Matter shirt come on and say, see, I told you, Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter, I told you. It just does not feel like a movement that was created for the people by the people.
What about the kid who was killed by police in Denver? That took place a year ago, and it only came up again. And I mean, who knows if anything will come with that? But like, the public there is pretty outraged that those police officers who gave him, like, they injected him with ketamine. Would that have happened without the Black Lives Matter movement? That happened a year ago, and now they're reopening the case. They're having a separate investigative unit look at the case.
Here is my issue. The question of, would that have happened without the Black Lives Matter movement? For a movement of this manner, with this many articulate people, with the amount of technology that we have, with just amount of awareness and knowledge of history that we have, with all of that wrapped into one, this should not be a situation where you're going, did Black Lives Matter put something into this? Like, the March on Selma, nobody went, did Martin Luther King have anything to do with this? I wonder. Like, it's not a very cohesive or
can you imagine if
movement.
That happened in 2020? People would be on Reddit going, I don't even think Martin Luther King Jr. was there. Conspiracy.
But I mean, people would try to, but then there would be proof and facts of this man who was the leader of this movement doing these things. This is what I'm saying. I'm saying every time Black Lives Matter comes up, people are peeking under sheets. People are, well, what's really happening? There's some type of conspiracy over here. There's some type of conspiracy. Like, there's all these things that are wrapped up in this movement that has been alive for 7 years and is starting to feel like a stagnant instead of a movement that just should have been way, way, way more thought out and executed better. Like, even on their website, it's like, what about us? We are people who believe that Black Lives Matter and want to go into communities and make things, like, it's very like commercially and blah, blah, blah. Like, why isn't it like, hey, we not finna pay taxes because cops is killing the shit out of Black people. Hey, we not finna keep voting for a system that was built to fuck us over. Hey, we're not gonna, like, they don't make any empirical statements that everyone can get by. Like, it's a very like cautious movement. Well, who the fuck wants a cautious movement?
So
it's not gonna move.
Don't think they're very good at doing their job. And also, I don't know if you said this on air, but at one point when we were talking about this yesterday, I think I can go ahead and assume that you also, like, you don't think they're doing a very good job. And like, what is their job? What are their goals, right?
Yes, exactly. And because if you have your shit clear, then you can better delegate like what I want you to do and what I want you to do and what I want you to do. But you don't know what the fuck going on yourself. All you're saying is Black Lives Matter. And let's be clear, duh. That's not that's not don't chant that shit. Chant stop killing us. Stop killing like what the fuck? I don't give a fuck if you feel like my life matter. I genuinely do not care if you feel like my life matter. Whether you think it matter or not though, don't put your hands on me. Don't put your hands on me. Don't kill me. Don't choke me out. Don't treat me unfairly. When you go home, when you walk away from me, I could be every black, dumb, stupid, whatever that you feel like, but I'ma still be alive. That don't Black lives. I have never been in an argument with someone and been like, my life matters. That doesn't even feel like something that's organic. You see what I'm saying? That doesn't feel like that's organic that you would say. Like, if you do something to me, the first thing that's going to jump out of my mouth is stop doing that. Stop doing that. You want to have a movement? Let's stop racism or let's stop
So,
what's
what
going
if
on.
the movement was called hashtag stop racism? You could get on board, or hashtag stop murdering black people. You would get on board, and if they were more organized about what they wanted.
Here's the thing. Don't come to me with shit that just has a name first. I don't want to hear nothing about, hey, I'm a part of this hashtag whatever the fuck group. The first thing I want you to say is, here's my group and this is what we want. This is our mission. This is what we're going for. This is how we think we should get there. That's the movement that I'm on. I don't want a t-shirt. I got enough t-shirts. I sell t-shirts. You sell. Everybody sell t-shirts. I don't want a Black Lives Matter t-shirt. I don't want a hashtag shit. The revolution did not come on Twitter. The revolution came when somebody said, oh, here's a lighter. Let me burn this shit up. Now all of a sudden, defund the police and this and the other. Now, if you tell me a Black Lives Matter person set some shit on fire, then let's have a conversation. But that's not what's happening.
I believe you're right about that. I don't think it was their movement. I mean,
Of
and
course
most of the
not.
leaders like condemned the that kind of stuff.
And here's the thing. Here's the thing about condemning it. I completely understand if you do not understand and or agree with looting or burning things on fire. There are plenty of people who said, I don't agree with it, but I understand it. And I feel like the more a movement for us comes out or tries to make it seem like, hey, no, I'm with you though. Like I don't wanna ruffle any feathers. I listen, I wasn't the one who like lit the match, okay? I didn't throw the once you get into that, it's not about us anymore. It's about you trying to make them comfortable. And they already comfortable because they the ones with their knee on our neck. Fuck the system being comfortable. That's what I'm saying. All these movements, that's what it's about. Making shit comfortable. Show me some shit that's gonna make people uncomfortable. That's sign me up for that movement.
Some people, if they didn't listen to our podcast and they just saw, like, I don't know how we're going to end up titling it, but if they just saw a tweet that said, like, Kells the comic, not with the Black Lives Matter movement, they might lump you in with, say, Terry Crews, who made the news today, for like a different reason, though. He was saying, like, let's not go overboard. He said, let's make sure it's not hashtag Black Lives Better. And everybody lost their shit on him.
So here's my thing about that, and this is another reason why I'm not a fan of the Black Lives Matter movement. Because black people are different. They come in all shapes, sizes, colors, just they think different, they move different. But you can be on one accord and not necessarily have all of the same beliefs and values or whatever. So when you have this thing like
I
the
feel like
Black
a lot of
Lives
times
Matter,
that's what Kanye's saying, to throw it back to that.
exactly. And I feel like a lot of times when people are saying like, "Oh, you don't agree with this movement," again, I preface this by saying there are a lot of things that the Black Lives Matter movement has done that are good, that should keep being done and whatever, whatever. But I'm not gonna say the Black Lives Matter movement is the best thing that hit Black people since Malcolm X. No, that's not what this is. And what happens is when a person like me says something like, "Oh, I'm not really jigging with Black Lives Matter," you lump me in with ignorant ass people like Terry Crews who said all that fuck shit that he said. And that's why I don't like movements, because you so focused on the movement, you're not even hearing what I said. I could have fucked around and dropped 5 great ass gems that could propel the Black community to someplace else, but you so focused on what I said about some shit that ain't really did shit for you that you finna fuck up your understanding.
It's like when
And
you were telling me before we even recorded episode 1, I asked Kells, I said, should we get the guy who's been going to the protests on a horse? And you actually didn't shoot it down, but at some point when we were talking about protesting, you were like, Amanda, what is focusing on the guy on the damn horse? What is that doing for Black people? And I was like, oh, I get it. It's a distraction.
but it is a distraction that all of this a distraction, and people are so caught up in media and hashtags and likes and all the other stuff that you're a part of the distraction, and you think you're part of the movement just because everything is a distraction and you're doing things like what is happening. Like, I'm sure my man did not get on the horse and said, I'm doing this to push back the movement or anything like that, or to distract anybody. That's not why he did it. He had a horse, he wanted to go to a protest, that's what happened. But the way the culture and these movements are set up, now we talking about a dude on a horse who I could give a fuck about, when I was just got through crying about this man who lost his life due to the police. We are so easily distracted that we can't focus on what's going on. We had, like I was telling Amanda, I had a friend send me a Google Doc of all the protests that was going on in Chicago. And it was like Black Lives Matter protests for kids. It was like protests for people against Black people who like to paint. It was like protests for people who walked past a Black person, didn't say hi. Protests for people who, it was all this stuff lumped in. And it was like, I thought this was about George Floyd. I thought this was about, and we can't help it. We can't narrow the shit down because we so focused on all the other shit. I feel like Black Lives Matter is is like an elective at school. You go to school, you have this home ec class. It counts somehow towards your credit, but in real life, you finna go home and Uber eat some shit because you tired and you don't really and you probably couldn't cook, and you see what I'm saying? Like, it's just
Yeah.
a filler for some shit. Because again, and please, somebody tag the video below or whatever, please show me the person who, after a Black Lives Matter event, said, you know what, I came in here really, really hating Black people, but now I understand that Black Lives Matter. You show me a video like that, I may change my mind. But I just don't think that is what we should be focused on. Black Lives Matter. I know that already. And if you don't know that, well, okay, I don't give a fuck. Just don't kill me.
Well, besides the lots of people who would disagree with you, because like
Mm-hmm.
it is more popular than ever now to be pro Black Lives Matter. Besides
That's what.
that, I will
Mm-hmm.
be kind of devil's advocate here and say you're right. Nobody, if you're a Nazi, is going to see somebody protesting. If anything, that's going to make you more of a Nazi, right? Like, you're going to dig your heels in, and you're going to be more Naziist because you're going to be like, damn those, Black protesters, or damn those white people who love Black protesters, or whatever. On the other hand, during this moment, people are being called out. and it is making people who do, like, one of the things that's been happening over the last 2-3 weeks, however long for that I've noticed, is like people who thought they were good, anti-racist, but who were maybe completely whitewashed it. For instance, lesbian creators have been called out, white lesbian content creators on YouTube. Jade Fox did a video specifically calling out like Rose and Rosie, and this is like all the lesbian YouTube world. And like, so now these white lesbian content creators are going like, yeah, why aren't I collaborating? Why aren't I giving credit to these Black creators when I'm taking their ideas and putting my spin on it? Why aren't I acknowledging that the algorithm rewards white people? To me, those things are positive. Do you not think so?
Not only do I agree that they're positive, so here's the thing. We're saying the same thing, but we're just coming about it from from ends. Because I something I do in my spare time. I help people run their social media pages. And it's all about
Ding
hashtagging
ding,
on
hit up Kells,
Instagram.
y'all, if you need some help.
Like it's all about hashtags and things like that and stuff like that. So just as an example, especially like after some George Floyd stuff or whatever, if I have a client, especially who's a Black owned business, and I want their stuff to boom, I'm gonna put hashtag BLM, hashtag Black Lives Matter, because I know that hashtag is popping. But the picture is about a piece of soap. You see what I'm saying? What I'm saying is everything that is hashtag Black Lives Matter, or that somebody says Black Lives Matter after, or this does not mean that they're affiliated with that, or that this action was brought about because of Black Lives Matter. What it is somebody came up with a catchy ass hashtag, and now it has blown up. And when something good does happen, Black Lives Matter said, yeah, we did it. Look at the hashtag. Look at it. It had to be us because you hashtagged it. These things are not happening because people are going, oh, Black Lives Matter. These things are happening organically, and because they want you to see it, they're hashtagging Black Lives Matter. Like the Nene Zelly episode that we did last time. I forget which one of them was it, but one of the people or a few of the people that were coming out with their tweets like, oh, we're not fucking with Nene Zelly no more, they hashtag Black Lives Matter. I know for a fact y'all not donating to that cause. You know what I'm saying? You're not marching with us, but you did it because
a lot of people fucked the hashtag up on Blackout Tuesday. People were posting black squares, and there had to be a whole separate campaign started to get people to stop using the hashtag Black Lives Matter with the little black square because it was diluting the information and stuff.
And that's what I'm saying. This is turned from a movement to a hashtag. And this is not so much so, and it's so murky. And so literally if you go down a list of 87 things that you feel like have happened from the Black Lives Matter movement, all I got to do is say, are you sure? And you're not sure no more. That's what and if you were a movement, you would be sure. Nobody is going, I wonder who was that lady who sat on that bus that one time, and then all that stuff happened. Was it Rosa Parks or was it Beulah May? Like nobody is wondering that, because she has arrest pictures. You see what I'm saying? Like there is proof of this, and you know who was what movement of what. You go on there.
So I made you repeat yourself, because basically what you're saying is exactly what you said at the top of the hour, which was,
and I'm gonna keep
there
saying,
are positive things that have come, although they don't necessarily always come directly or even anyway from the Black Lives Matter movement. But I do acknowledge, this is you saying that, and that is basically your answer when I bring up these like other things that are positive, like reopening cases, possible commitments to bans on chokeholds, making leeway in whitewashed communities.
And hear me out, because how I feel is that just the way the way things are, period. So me personally, we know how I feel about Black Lives Matter. I have called out white friends or this and the other. I didn't do that because of the Black Lives Matter culture. I did it because I wanted to go, hey, what's up? What you doing? And I feel like when that
Are
happens,
you referring to like you called people out recently, or you're just saying in my life I call out white people
and
when
my
they fuck up?
yeah, I do it
Okay.
all the time. I, hey, you, why you not do? Hey, but that has nothing to do with Black Lives Matter. Like what I'm saying is just how it is right now. If you're a black person in America, you're fed up. It does not have anything to do with Black Lives Matter. And if it does, explain to me how it does. And no one can do that. When you look on the website, it says these are co-founders of. It doesn't say these are the founders. It says these are co-founders of the movement. It shows these three black ladies. Um, it's very like PBSy. Like it gives me like I want you to donate and maybe I will give you a magnet. But
It is that
I'm
way. Absolutely.
I'm never seeing like, hey, okay, this is what we're doing today. Like
I think I
this is
agree
what
with
this one
you,
step is.
and I also disagree with you. And that I sound like that's the worst thing to be as a podcaster. I apologize, listeners. I see your points, but ultimately, I did think the hashtag Me Too movement advanced grounds for women, and ultimately, I do agree that a lot of the hashtag Black Lives Matter stuff is bullshit. But sometimes if you go and click on the hashtag, if you're like on TikTok, you see stuff that like opens your eyes.
Okay. So the difference between hashtag Me Too and hashtag Black Lives Matter is hashtag Me Too was very clear about what their goals was and about if you using this hashtag, what this meant. Nobody, and so
Agreed.
much so to the point if you did use hashtag Me Too and it was some fuck shit, then you got called out on it. That's what I'm saying. Every
You're right.
other
You're right. It basically
movement,
meant, it literally meant, hey, I've experienced this harassment or rape or whatever too.
and that's it. And if you use Me Too for anything else, even if it's like, hey, you went to the store, Me Too, you was getting called the fuck out because that's not what it meant no more. That's not what's happening with Black Lives Matter. If I have on a black t-shirt, I could put Black Lives Matter. That's not doing shit. That's dumb. It's not, it's just causing murky smoke, and I feel like it's for a reason. I feel it, like I said, it doesn't feel organic. It doesn't feel like it's for the people, by the people. It feels like somebody said, let me get this hashtag out here. So if one day I wanted to, I could search this hashtag and see all the people who felt like this. And you see what I'm saying? Like it feels very much so like a play. And like we were talking about before, as far as like organizing wise, like with the protests and stuff like that, I have never heard anybody say, man, I went to this LGBTQ IA protest and there was bricks stacked up for me to throw. Or I went to that protest and Antifa was there. That only happened, where does it happen? Black Lives Matter protest. Like, tell them the fuck on. Like, explain to me how your shit, it's never as organized or as tight as it's supposed to be. It's never as, and people were doing way more efficient, effective, and meaningful protests when it wasn't even the motherfucking internet. So tell me how now, with the internet, iPhones, FaceTime, Zoom, goddamn it, whatever you want to communicate with somebody, how we still don't understand what the fuck Black Lives Matter is here for. Oh, what is Black Lives Matter here for, Amanda?
It would just be a guess, but if I was guessing, I would say to get the public to admit and acknowledge that Black Lives Matter.
Okay, let's pretend like that's what it's for.
Okay.
Okay. I am a cop who has killed 3 black people. Now I know Black Lives Matter to you. Is that finna stop me from killing the next black person?
No, I see your point. Now, I have a 2-part question for you. and I'm going to show my ass a little bit here, listeners. One, how many people in your life who you know that are Black do you think might agree with you, or that you know do agree with you? And two, how did it make you feel when I basically told you, like, oh my God, I'm so surprised? I basically, as a white person, just assumed you would be all about the Black Lives Matter movement. How did you feel about that?
So the first question was how many Black people in my life probably agree with me. I'm gonna say about 45% probably agree with me. I'm gonna say
Wow, that's a lot.
probably about 25% don't agree with me, and about 30% are just indifferent about it. Like, I'll hashtag the shit. I'll go to I don't really give a fuck what they do.
I see. Easter Christmas Christians, as you would call them.
Exactly. How did I feel when you were shocked about it? To be honest, the first thing I thought was duh, because that is the way the movement is going. If you're not Black, you automatically assume that we're with the fuck shit, or not, whatever, that we with the bullshit with the whole hashtag Black Lives Matter. And I feel like that's what it's designed to do, to again group us in some shit that we're not trying to be fucking grouped in. This whole movement is saying, stop looking at me as a Black person and look at me as an individual. So why will we then get behind a movement that's saying all Black people gotta feel like Black? What? Because I'm gonna tell you something. I have met a few Black people, and I don't give a damn about their life. Like, this is not this is not where we're supposed to be going.
Do you mind if I ask you, how do you consider yourself politically? Liberal,
Politically,
conservative, libertarian, none of the
how
above?
I consider myself politically is fuck your politics. Like,
You sound like a libertarian.
no, I'm not a libertarian, because even libertarians are trying to reform the system. I don't want to reform the system. I'm saying fuck your system. If you want to be a part of that system, that's cool. Go be a part of that system. But that system has proven since the beginning of the system, since it was born, literally, it was named the system, and then it said fuck Black people. That's it. That's what the system has been doing. It grew up and said, hey, my name is the system, and I'm going to fuck Black people until I die. And my thing is, you keep trying to reform something that don't want to be reformed.
Well, a lot of people don't know. I only learned this year that, for instance, they created the prison system right after slavery was ended.
The first cop,
Coincidence?
the first cop ever in life was made a cop to hunt down slaves.
Yep.
So explain to me why you think if that was the first cop, and you mean to tell me yesterday a cop killed a Black person, tell me how much hope I got that this system is going to be reformed. Because you've been like this all your life. Everybody got that one old person in their family who cannot change from doing the same shit that they do. Why do we think it's any different from the system?
Well, there are probably a lot of people listening who are thinking, like, okay, well, you don't agree with Black Lives Matter. Like, what are you doing? Like, what should I be doing? What should any of us be doing? Or should we just kind of live, as individuals, the best way we think positive, and just acknowledge, like, this is the fucky system that we were born into?
I think that first of all, I'll start with, what do I do? What I do is, I personally, just like I started off the show, Black-owned businesses, I personally support Black-owned businesses and local Black-owned businesses too. If you a startup Black-owned business, whatever it is, you got a CD, I'll kick you flat out, whatever. That's one way. A second way is, I know there's people just listening to this, but I don't know if anyone could tell, I am Black. So every day I wake up is an advancement for the Black community, because I'm an asset to the Black community. I myself am a business owner. I myself am intelligent. I have ideas. So keeping myself well and sound, that's also something that I'm doing for the Black community. When I give my opinions, conversations like this, things like that with allies and non-allies, that is also things that I'm doing for the Black community. Another thing that I feel like I'm doing for the Black community is I encourage people not to engage in activities that would aid in assetting the racist system, like police and things like that. I'll put it like that. As far as what you should do, whoever's listening and or watching, I feel like you should get out of your comfort zone. That is a lot of what the problem is. And I also feel like Black Lives Matter makes things comfortable because after you come home from your protest and you wipe off your shiny cardboard sign, you can now post it on Facebook and you feel like you've done something, even though there was a Black man at the protest selling water and you walked past him and you went into a Walgreens and bought the water. That's what I'm saying. You have to reframe how you're thinking.
That
It's
hits
either
home. Did everybody? I mean, I just want to reemphasize what you just said. Even though, because I can't tell you how many times I have personally done this. Even though you walked past a Black man selling water and walked into a Walgreens and bought your water there, you were just calling us out.
that happens all the time. Like what I feel like you need to be acknowledging Black people on all levels wherever they're at. And until you do that, I feel like your actions are in vain. I People are really scared now. People are saying defund the police, but I'm still gonna pay taxes. Does that make sense to you? How you gonna defund? So you mean to tell me you think that you're gonna tell the people who paying them how to pay them? Explain to me how you gonna do that. With your hashtag? Or you could just not pay your taxes. And that way you know that your money did not go towards that. It didn't go towards anything.
Kells, we got a lot of broke ass millennials going, woo! I've been helping Black people this whole time. Ain't paid taxes in 8 years.
But I'm saying, like, if you really think about it as a Black person, you're paying taxes for things that you don't even have equal access to. If you go in the hood, it's more potholes than it is crackheads. If you go in the hood, the buildings is dilapidated. If you call the police in the hood, the police gonna come 6 hours later. If you and then they're gonna kill you, the person who called. Like, if you explain to me what you paying your taxes for that you think you're getting equally to Stacey who's up north. That's not what's happening. And Amanda laughed at me earlier about the whole voting thing. I want to know what Black people are voting for. And when a Black person has called their alderman and said, hey, I'm being treated unfairly, and their alderman said, you know what? You are. Let me do something about it. Because it's never happened.
You're saying that even from a super local level, even because in Chicago we have aldermen, you're saying even from a super local level that calling your alderman gets you nowhere historically.
So, I mean, everything has a hierarchy. So if you call your alderman and I call my alderman and we all call their alderman, eventually they got to call their alderman boss and that person got to call, like, if we're trying to get real justice, then they got to call their boss and then they got to call their boss. And guess who all their bosses is? Motherfucking Trump. So explain to me how far you think you're going to get with this advancement.
I did personally try to get my aldermen to keep scooters because I was charging them for extra cash on the side. And I did not feel like my voice was heard. So that lines up with what you're saying.
but I feel like this is just, bro, if we could have a Black president and still be having the same shit, like, explain to me what you voting for. Tell me who you voting for, what you voting for, why you voting. We fought to vote, died to vote, got killed, went through hell and hot water just to vote. And the same thing happening when we was dying for the vote, that's happening now that we get to vote.
You don't think
so the voting
legislation has made any progress whatsoever for Black people?
Do you want me to pull up the last day a Black person was killed by the police?
I know a lot have
No,
been killed even since Floyd's murder.
exactly. Black people still getting killed. Black people are still trying to figure out how to eat. The reason this corona stuff, black people probably made more money during corona than they ever made in their life right now. Like this is what this is not black
We
people
have a
struggling.
mutual friend who told me that this has been like the greatest gift ever. She's been able to
And
make more money with the unemployment, you know. She was driving Uber. Anyways, yeah, I know. I hear what you're saying.
it's a problem. It's there has never been a time where somebody looked and was like, you know what? Black people was not struggling, or black people they weren't at the bottom of the totem pole. They was just black people are the only people who had like mass fuck shit happen to them and did not get reparations. And that's another thing that I was talking to you about too. Jewish people after the Holocaust did not pick up signs and say our lives matter. They did not say that because they didn't give a fuck because they already knew that you did not agree with that. They're like, hey, stop killing us. This is some fuck shit. And when they got their reparations, they did not get the reparations and say, and now you better not be anti-Semitic too. No, they went and opened businesses. They got their community on. They put their people on. That's what they was able to do with the motherfucking reparations. With our reparations, we did. Oh wait, we didn't get any.
Don't you remember last week, last first episode, you told our listeners you got your $30 Uber reparations.
I did. I got that reparation. And I guess if you call unemployment reparations, then that's what that is too.
You know, I have to be honest. This is the most, and I agree with you that it cannot just be Black Lives Matter. Because, like you said, Black Lives Matter has been around for 7 years. But this is the most discussion I've heard about reparations, and the most sense. Like, I'm seeing news articles written by white people going, "Yes, this is the case for reparations." I do feel like public opinion is turning. Do you think that's just me being a white person trying to make it more comfortable for myself?
Honest to God, yes. Only because
Thank you. I love you, Kells. You're always so honest with me.
only because have you ever heard of Claude Anderson?
No, I haven't.
Exactly. He was one of the first he is who wrote the affirmative action law. Like he is who was behind
Oh,
that.
cool.
He has a book called, I believe, Blackonomics. I have to look up like all the books or whatever.
You have to call
But
me out. I don't know my shit. Call me out.
but as far as the topic of reparations, black people have never not said we wanted reparations. And just like since the history of cops, black people have never not been getting murdered. The reason why we're seeing it now is because this shit is hashtagable. The reason why, no offense, some woke white ally is writing their article about reparations is because you're going to hashtag it Black Lives Matter, it's going to go viral, and now you're going to look woke. But if what you really was concerned about was black people having reparations, you would have attached a GoFundMe to your article and then split that motherfucker up, pick some black people and get them some reparations. This is what I'm saying. We keep acting like posting shit on the
Do you
internet is
think
doing
that
something.
white people need to be like? Because I remember, I don't know what it was for, but there was some point within the last couple of weeks where I was seeing a lot on both Twitter and Instagram, a lot of um, black users putting their Cash App or their Venmo and saying, you know,
Yeah, around
reparation.
Juneteenth.
Yeah, if you act,
Mm-hmm.
it was Juneteenth. I'm sorry. See, ignorant white person. It
Nope.
was on Juneteenth. So on Juneteenth, I saw a lot of these people saying, "Hey, white people, if you actually care and are not just talking out your ass, here's my Cash App. Send me some fucking money. I need to eat." Do you
Mm-hmm.
think that what every white listener out there should be doing some form of that?
I don't feel like any white listener should be doing anything that they don't feel authentically moved to do. I want to start with that.
I like that.
What I'm saying is that you don't have to tell somebody what to do in a moment if they're truly moved to do your intentions move you. I'll put it like that. For example, this podcast. As far as me and Amanda doing this podcast, I know you guys have seen posts like, oh my God, like we've been texting each other and having all these 2 hours. That's literally what happens. One of us will wake up with an idea or something and text each other 17 paragraphs and do this and any other. The other one does not have to tell the other one what to do because we have the same goal. The other one does not have to say, hey, I need you to be present because we have the same goal. My thing is if my sister calls me and says I'm hungry, I'm not going to go hashtag I talked my sister through hunger. I'm going to send her some money because she's hungry. Like, you don't have to. And that's what I'm saying about your article about reparations. That's for you. That article is for you because if you was like, how can I get money for Black people? Put a GoFundMe up. If you like, how can I get money for Black people? Whatever your platform is, throw some type of raffle that everybody got to donate $1 to, and then donate that proceed to some. But that's not what you. My thing is, everybody's like,
I
oh,
have
what
seen
should I
some people
do?
do that. I literally have a friend who
Exactly.
makes mugs and she raffled it off. But then here's where I think a lot of people are messing up, and tell me if I'm wrong here. Then I believe she gave them to like the funds to like some organization.
So here's the thing, like you said before, look up the organizations that you're giving these things to. If it is an organization that you genuinely believe in and you're giving your money to it and you've worked with them and you've looked them up, definitely do that. But these hashtags and these movements take the humanity out of things that's happening. I don't think that if you have a Black friend who called you 2 weeks ago like, dog, I'm hungry, and you put up a GoFundMe and give it to an organization for Black people, I don't think you did your justice. I think first you call your friend and go, let me put $20 in your Cash App, and then you like people are so caught up in what should I do for the masses? You're not even looking out for the person sitting next to you. Like you're not even what should you do? My answer to what you do is be human and treat everybody around you like you're human. When you start getting into the mindset of just genuinely being a human, that hashtag shit gonna fall to the wayside.
Buy the freaking Streetwise instead of going and giving to blacklivesmatter.org or whatever.
Thank you. That brother that you see, that you pass every day, who's in the dog on middle of the street with that same flower, get your girl a flower. She gonna be happy and he gonna be happy. Buy the water off of him. Go, come on. We all wearing masks and gloves now. They ain't gonna bite you. Y'all see the little drummer dudes? Kick them some money.
The little drummer dudes.
Yeah.
I feel like white people are so racistly contentious towards those little drummer dudes. And I only say this because I worked for a large commercial real estate company. This is before I moved to Minneapolis. So this is like 6-7 years ago. And we had a building downtown, and our building manager, who was white, he made it his mission to, the second he heard those drums, he set security down, get them off our block, get them off. And he had other things going on. He was managing a building. But anyways, I think you're totally right. And that's something that I personally myself could do so much better of, is like you said, stop performing for social media with the hashtag and start actually humanizing Black people and putting your money runs the world. We know that. Putting your money in there. What, like you said, why do you fucking need, Walgreens doesn't need your money, and Walgreens isn't benefiting white people either. It's not benefiting any of us.
Period. I wanted to tell you a story about this humanizing thing. And this happened for me. Like, I don't want to act like, I don't want people to be like, oh my gosh, she was born woke or anything. Like, no, that's not, no. I used to work at Old Navy when it was on State Street, and it was the winter time. And as a matter of fact, I met
Girl,
the
I used to go
who
into that Old Navy when I worked downtown.
all the time. I
Mind blown.
met Raw at Old Navy. Anywho, this one guy or this bum, when the bums would come in, they would call security to sweep them out or whatever. This one time, this bum came in. This is a funny story, but it's not a funny story. This bum came in, and there was this couple who was from out of town. I'll tell you in a minute how I know they were from out of town. But there's this couple, and this bum, he comes in, and he sees like the security guard coming from right here. So he's going this way, and he walks up to this couple, takes his fist, cocks back, and punches the dude in the face. We was like, oh
Whoa.
my God, for no reason. So the dude, the dude was like, oh my God. And the lady was crying like,
Wait,
oh my
the
God, get
homeless guy punches the guy
the
that's
homeless guy punches the dude in the face. So LP comes out, they get the guy, they rush the guy downstairs. The lady's screaming like, we should have never came here. Like it was just so, she was definitely like a Karen in the making. It was like, oh my God. And it was just like all this crazy stuff. And so when they finally cleared it out, I was talking to one of my supervisors and one of the cops, and I'm like, I cannot understand why this bum just punched this man out the like. Because of course this is a huge thing that happened in the store. We all over the walkie talking about it. I'm like, I can't understand how this happened. And a police officer says this happens all the time because now we have to take him in jail, and he'll have free room and board.
Holy shit.
After that I was like, oh wow, like you had to put yourself in a position because it was cold outside. Also, this is the winter, to where you had to do some crazy shit. But it just blew my mind about perspective. Like it blew my mind that like from the outside looking in, you look like a crazy bum. But then when you really found out about it, you smart as fuck,
Yeah.
and you really just out here
Working the system.
trying to live. Like you working this, you trying to live, and I feel like it is so easy for us to clutch our pearls and look at things like, oh my God, like why is that so tough? I would do this better. I would do this, and you could really just be humanizing things. Literally everything that you really spend money on, you could find a black-owned person to do it. You could
Period.
frequent black-owned restaurants. You could buy clothes from black-owned fashion. You can do all of that before you ask, what should I be doing?
And you know what's crazy? You know us white people love that shit. I live in Wicker, and there is a black-owned store, and it got hit with the looting, but oh my God, I'm gonna lose my mind. Anyways, I went in there, and I don't know how this happened, but they fixed me a fucking cocktail while I was in there. I had to buy a dress for a wedding. Anyways, it was like one of the best shopping experiences I had, and I left, and my partner and I were both like, why don't we go in there? Why do we go to these stupid fucking, it's racism, it's like, I guess my point is like white people, white listeners, I say we because I include myself, we are going to have a much better experience anyways half the time. And it's not like we're doing some act of charity. It's like you said, just fucking humanize, equal. Don't be afraid to buy the water bottle. Like, and then when you do, like, you're going to have a good experience. And yeah, I'm rambling now, but white people tend to love some black culture. So why not just love black people with our money?
That works. And also, I don't want it to sound like all white people have money and should give it to black people. Like,
We
if
definitely
you,
don't.
right, like if you down with the struggle, open-minded conversations move just as much as money does. Like your friend that has a black-owned business, shouting them out on your page, that does just as much. Like that, you know what I'm saying? Like just showing like genuine love. It was after the George Floyd situation. I had genuine friends that reached out to me like, "Hey, are you okay?" And then I had some people like, "I just want to send my condolences." That was a little weird, but reaching out to your black friends because you know something is happening, that's fine. Having genuine conversations, and I don't also want it to sound like I don't want you to ask, what should I be doing? If you genuinely feel like that, definitely ask. We definitely don't have a problem with helping you with that. But also, like, check your intentions too. Like, if your intentions are just to ask it so you can then tell your white friend, like, I asked them, that's not it. But if you're trying to help black people, help a black person. That's it.
I like that. I like that a lot. I think that's a great way to end the segment. And I think there's a lot of things that we talked about that maybe, our listeners might not agree with, but there's also a lot that how can you disagree with what you just said, Kells? I mean, honestly, I think I feel like I learned a lot just through this discussion. Is it okay? How do you feel? Because I'm a comedian, I think I'm a very like word vomity type person. So I will say like, oh, wow, I'm not used to stopping and buying the bottled water from, the black guy on the corner. How do you feel when I admit to stuff like that? Does that make it weird?
No, it is refreshing because you could have just been like, "Ooh," and kept going to Walgreens. You see what I'm saying? Like I feel like it helps. It helps getting out genuine support and thoughts because also like let's be clear, you're white. Like if you if
No, I'm
I'm
not, Kels. No, I'm just
if I was white, it's no way that you're gonna tell me like, hey, just step out of all of your privilege and understand this. That it doesn't work like that. It just does not work like that. I think the genuine pursuit and intent to do better and learn better, that's it. The difference between a racist and someone who's not a racist is the act of racism and the intent of racism. Like, I feel like, because people feel like when they, or before they did the racist thing or whatever, well, I wasn't racist, but you never intended to not be racist. Like, you never intended to include these Black people in your way of life. So you're racist. Like, once you start coming out of that, like, hey, I really do want to, that's when that shit changes.
I like that. I feel like you kind of have given white people, our listeners who happen to be white, permission to talk about it and to try harder. And I also feel like you've done something important. When we first started talking about this, Kells and I just felt like your perspective needed to be put out there. And thank you for being so open and honest. And I'm going to do my best to keep us from getting canceled for it.
Please do. Don't put like Black persons hate Black people as the title. Like, God damn it.
Black person hates Black people is definitely going to be the title of the show now.
Awesome.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
well, listeners, if you have a response to this, we said so much. We do want to hear your response. Please review us on iTunes and we will respond to your review. Don't be afraid to hit them 5 stars. Or just be honest with us. We're trying to get better here. Also, email us questions, windycitywomenpodcast@gmail.com. And we are now on Twitter. We are at Windy Women. Also, Kells, where can people find you?
Kells the Comic, KELLSTHAKOMIC, at Kells the Comic on Instagram, on Twitter, on Snapchat. I got a Snapchat, Facebook, Kells the Comic. All you gotta do is type it in and you will see the likes of this beautiful face.
And I am at Amanda Costner everywhere, the same as her. At Amanda Costner, spelled just like Kevin, Costner. I'm going to link both of our individual platforms at the bottom, as well as our Windy City Witty platforms at the bottom in the description. So please, 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 it helps us so much. Rate us, subscribe us, follow us, whatever you can. And thank you so much for listening. Any other words you got, Kells?
Thank you. Her last name is Costner like Kevin, and I just realized that. And my last name is Whitaker like Forrest. We're celebrities.
Oh shit! Wait, are you related? Because I'm supposedly related.
We're Black, so probably.
Don't say that now. All these racist white people think all Black people are related.
No, I don't think so, though.
My partner has a very popular last name, and well, I'll just say it, it's Patel. And sometimes people will be like, do you know my old schoolmate who lives in Wyoming? But be like, oh no.
It's like, no, I don't know all Patels. No.
I'm so glad we got to do another podcast. We are going to be coming every Wednesday. New episodes every Wednesday. We're dropping.
Windy City Women Wednesday.
That makes sense because the W is, yeah. Mm-hmm. Did we do that on purpose?
I did. I totally did.
Did you tell me and I just forgot?
Maybe. I don't know.
Well, I don't know if I knew it before, but now, genius. I just want to tell you, Kel's genius suggestion. Wednesdays, when you see women. All right, I think that's it.
Awesome sauce.
Awesome job, dude.
Gracias.
We shall see you next week.